Finally, we have some good news on the economy and really the number one issue for many Americans, the cost of living. So we just learned that consumer prices in February increased by 2.8% year over year, 0.2% month over month. Both of these figures were a step in the right direction, and both were better than expected. So this is definitely very encouraging to see, because it's going to, I think, relieve some fears that inflation was perhaps re-accelerating, because this actually breaks a streak of 4 straight months where I think you could see it on the chart all the way to the right, where the inflation rate was going in the wrong direction, right? It was going higher and higher. Finally, we're seeing it dip.
In 1991, we had a $30 billion trade deficit. Fast forward to 2022, $950 billion. That's a 3,000+% increase. No one said anything about the price of goods going up, or at least acknowledged the price of goods, except for people on my side, going up over the past 4 years. And the point was made that it takes Americans about a year or two to get over the pain. Well, I guess it's going to take an additional 4 or 8 years for them to get over the previous 4 years. I think the president is right to attempt a reset as it pertains to our trade. I spent, I don't know, an hour on my way up here looking at all these old articles coming out of liberal outlets over the past 10, 15, 20 years, talking about the disaster free trade has had on middle-class America, how it's destroyed manufacturing in this country, how once upon a time the Rust Belt was thriving, now it's in decay. You can't blame that on Donald Trump for wanting to focus and put a microscope and saying, wait a minute here, we have left a significant percent of our fellow Americans behind. Let's fix it.
It seems all we need is a little bit of patience. As you saw from the intro, Trump's first inflation report after a full month of him being president, technically, I think, it's better than expected, reversing 4 straight months of rising inflation under Biden. America is healing. And you saw in that panel, and I think I'm going to talk more about it, tariffs has been like one of the things that liberals have been pushing out, saying that it will cause inflation, it's inflationary. And like I said in my previous videos talking about this, Trump is highlighting what's the reality of tariffs, right? It's not what the liberals think it is, right? The liberals love to pigeonhole things, frame it in a negative light so they can get people to just go on their side, right? And I think it's part of their fear hustling. That's why I always talk about their fear hustling. But I want to talk about facts, because it seems, I forget where it was, but there was a meme I saw that encapsulated exactly the sentiment that many Americans are feeling. Is the meme pretty much goes like this: journalists should shut up because we want to listen from the conspiracy theorists because they have a better track record. And I think this is something that many people in the mainstream media don't seem to understand. And that's part of the reason what hurts their brand, their credibility, their messaging. And I think this is why their tactics of trying to make Doge unpopular, getting us to try to hate Elon Musk, it's not working, right? I want to show you this clip highlighting how a few examples of how journalists will say something, conspiracy theories. This is the label that liberals like to tell people who disagree with them, just because they don't have any evidence to back it up. It's a claim, and you don't have any facts to discredit the claim. They'll say the opposite. Oh, crime is up. Crime isn't up. These kind of example is what highlights why many people don't trust the mainstream media. I'll digress. Let's get into this clip.
This seems to be kind of also another litmus test for how to be in MAGA world. I mean, is this the new reality for this MAGA era of politicians, that they don't back down when they're confronted with facts? It's clear as day. The FBI put out statistics. Crime is going down. You don't have to twist the facts.
The FBI quietly comes out with this new data that shows actually violent crime is up 4.5% during that time frame.
The only person making an accusation that people are not getting what they've asked for is Trump, falsely claiming that the administration is withholding resources because of political affiliation. That is just not true.
Well, the Federal Emergency Management Agency is facing major backlash after confirming reports that a supervisor ordered disaster relief workers to avoid homes with Trump yard signs.
There's actually not any evidence linking any of Hunter Biden's wrongdoings to Joe Biden.
You are incorrect.
You think that Biden would actually pardon Hunter Biden, despite him saying
Yes, as a father, he would.
No.
He's going to get pardoned by his dad. There's no question about that.
The president has ruled out pardoning his son.
Breaking news. President Biden has just pardoned his son.
MAGA doesn't back down when confronted with facts. facts. The facts doesn't say what you say it think. The facts doesn't say what you think it says. That's what conservatives have been saying for a while. You give a fact, and anyway, there's two kind of facts. There's lagging indicator facts and there's leading indicator facts. If public sentiment is saying the economy is bad, right? Guardian, and these people vote in the election, there's a high likely chance that the metrics you're using to judge that the America is not in a recession, right? This article was made 9 months ago, right? And this is what happens when journalists say, "Oh, people are not realizing the facts." Wrongly believes that the U.S. is in a recession, right? And I think I make this dichotomy point a lot, but it goes to show that why would I trust people like who got it wrong? Why would I trust you? 9 months ago, you're telling me that it was wrong for me as an American to assume that we're in a recession because your guy's in power. Now you want to get mad that we might be in a recession early in the year, but you don't want to acknowledge that your guy had 2 back-to-back negative GDP growth. And in the intro, if you saw the graph, maybe I'll clip it over my face. You saw the middle? You saw Biden's years. You see how high inflation was? Highest inflation rate in 40 years, Joe Biden. Yet Democrats will sit here and try to tell me, make claims, "Oh, Trump's going to crash the economy. Trump is creating all these uncertainties." Before the presidential election, many Democrats were puzzled by seemingly disconnected economic realities as reflected in various government statistics and public perceptions of the economy on the ground. Many in Washington bristled at the public's failure to register how strong the economy really was. They charged that right-wing echo chambers were conning voters into believing entirely preposterous narratives about America's decline. What they rarely considered is whether something else might be responsible for the disconnect. Whether, for instance, government statistics was fundamentally flawed. And this is the problem when you saw from the intro, and you saw from the clip I just showed you of Abby Phillips talking about MAGA doesn't, they don't let facts stop them. MAGA thinks your facts are flawed. Make the argument why your facts isn't flawed. Crime is down, crime is not up. Revised article come out, crime is up. Joe Biden won't pardon his son. He made numerous statements saying he wouldn't pardon his son. After the election, partisan son. Biden administration told us that hourly wages grew last year in Q3 1.6%, even after adjusting for inflation. But those data are once again revised down to show an inflation adjusted loss of 0.1%. In other words, you got poorer during the Biden administration. You got poorer during the Biden administration. And did the media cover that? Did the media care about the economy as much as they're caring about the economy right now? No, because they see it as a way to attack Trump. It's like Trump can do no right in their eyes, right? And now what they're trying to do is they're trying to lead us or lead a narrative to create anxiety, anxiousness, fear. They're trying to create a sentiment of negativity, right? They use words from people that you may hear of, may know, to try to justify this fear. And this is why I'm saying that this is why a lot of people believe that the media is a threat to America because they're not trying to inform you. I'm telling you, the more I watch these videos, the more I comment on these videos, the more I think you're starting to see my sentiment about how I believe that the media's job is not necessarily to inform you. They're trying to perpetuate a perception to you. All right. And they only will project things that will project a perception that they want you to have. They want you to be fearful of the economy. They want you to not like tariffs. So they try to find examples and they try to highlight it as much as possible. How, oh my God, tariffs are inflationary, but egg prices are down. What else? Gas prices are down, right? More jobs are coming in or being made in the private sector, not in the government. These are good things for Americans, right? We're not creating jobs in Washington where only mostly people living in Washington will benefit from. The economy is growing all across the country. But Biden's economy, where many voters believe that we were in a recession and the media just didn't want to cover it, you starting to see my point. All of Joe Biden's numbers are being revised after the fact, after he got to brag about how he has a strong economy. Right before the election, they had to revise the job numbers and say, no, technically you don't have 818,000 jobs. You have less than 818,000 jobs. Like, what? People are seeing this. And the media keep talking about, oh, MAGA don't let facts get in their way. No, your facts are fundamentally flawed. Your facts are not saying what you think it's saying. And because of that disagreement, they try to play this little narrative game. And I think a lot of Americans are tired of it. And this is why, people are joking around. I joke around. I don't joke around. I trust the internet more than I trust the television, right? Because it just seems like it's a psyop. It's just like, yo, you trying to condition my perception. You trying to color my lens in a certain color so I see things in a certain way. And I think that is the true purpose of mainstream media, it seems like. And that's how they operate. Because when I put that motive on their actions, when I put that motive on their actions, it makes sense. How they portraying the news, their framing of the news, their disproportional panels. They'll have two conservatives, but outnumber them by 3 or 4 panelists. Like, make it make sense. If you want to inform the American people, half and half. If you get 8 people, 4 on the conservative side, 4 on the left side, and the American people have a more balanced perspective of what's going on in our world, around the world, in our economy, in the nation. But no, there's always these lopsided panels. And I think this is the number one critique I always had about Abby Phillips' show. She always outnumbering the conservatives. For what? So it has this sentiment that, oh no, people are disagreeing with, like, they give this false perception of a majority. It's not. You're not the majority. Trump's position is technically the majority right now, at least. Until we get the midterms, we'll see. But, enough of my long-winded rant. Let's get into this clip.
So be it. Get over it. Today he's saying, I don't think the American worker goes to work in the morning, changes what they're going to do because they read about tariffs, but I do think companies might, and uncertainty is not a good thing.
Okay, let's separate the market from the policy. So stock market's correct about every 18 months as much as 10 to 20%. We're right in the middle of that right now. It's actually healthy. I mean, it feels terrible when it's occurring, but corrections have been part of the market for 150 years. So let's get over that. Let's talk about the policy of tariffs. Tariffs in this situation are not long-term yet. Even Ludnick today said he's having the Premier of Ontario tomorrow morning for discussions to bring down the heat on car and electricity issues. The challenge with Canada, which we just talked about, is they have no leader. Trudeau was kicked out on Sunday night at midnight. They're going to have a new leader in 90 days. Ludnick himself said this morning, let's wait till the new person who's going to be prime minister is in place and start a pan-Canadian negotiation. Now, tariffs themselves, nobody understands. If you ask the average person walking down the street, what's a tariff, they have no idea. What Trump is trying to do is to reset the tariff schedules that were set in place after the Second World War in every single country, not just Canada, not just Mexico, but Germany and England and France and Switzerland and India. So it's very simple. Let's say we make sugar, as we do, and India makes sugar, and they put 110% tariff on our sugar going to India.
And I think Americans are starting to understand that, right? That Trump is trying to make stuff fair. And I think that's what's also driving inflation. Many people are saying this is a tactic by Trump to lower pricing, and it seems like it's working, or prices are coming down. And many people, like, to me, I'm more of like let nature take its course. Biden prevented a recession, or when he saw signals of a recession, he used more government spending. He created more government jobs, which is spending more government money to create these jobs, because it's not a net positive on the tax base. All you're really doing is recycling tax dollars and creating a position. And that's what causes inflation. Government spending causes inflation. The more government spending you have, the more likely you are to have inflation. This is why inflation was so bad under Joe Biden, because Joe Biden spent a lot of government money to prop up this economy. And now we're leaning the economy down. Right now, the economy is overvalued. Right now, I'm more of a value investor. Right now, I'm like, yo, maybe I need to change how I allocate my funds this week, because I need to start buying stuff right now. because I believe that the stock market, it will be fine, it'll bounce back. But this idea that this perception that the liberals are trying to push out about this fear, I don't think a lot of people have it. I think a lot of these people who are like part of this global cabal, right? They're not liking the pain right now, but this is what it needs: short-term pain for long-term growth. And I think this way is better. And this is why Trump didn't roll out a mini recession, right? At least he's being upfront with you. Hey, say, look, we could go into a recession, but I'm trying to avoid that. But if I have to, I will. And the rationale for that, and I think CNN, if they were honest, they'll allow one of the conservatives to properly articulate why Trump is thinking this should be an appropriate path forward to helping Americans. Trump believes that if we go into a short-term recession, it'll force interest rates to go down, which a lot of consumers would like that. Oh, hey, interest rates are down. And then it starts stabilizing. And then within a year, 6 months, like I said, 6 months, you'll start seeing, hey, it's trending in the right direction. And we already got some signals of that from the jobs report, the inflation report. But I digress. Let's continue in here this discussion.
India. Why don't we just reciprocate? So what happens in a trade war where tariffs are escalated is when both sides say to each other...
But I do want to distinguish between what you're talking about, reciprocal tariffs, which he's promised
That's coming April 2nd.
Yeah, right. He's promised are coming. And what has actually been happening now, which is that Trump claims that they're going to be massive across-the-board tariffs on two countries that we have a trade agreement with.
I know you don't like Trump's style.
No.
You haven't liked it for 12 years.
I don't want people to be confused, is what I'm saying, about what we're talking about here. What the markets are reacting to right now is Trump saying 25% on Mexico and Canada, and then the next day saying, oh, never mind, 50% on steel and aluminum, and then and then 6 hours later, oh, never mind. But that's what they're reacting to.
Look,
Yeah, I agree with Kevin O'Leary, man. I honestly think that Abby, like, I don't know if it's just Abby Phillips. I'm thinking it's many people, but these people are so dishonest. Like, you don't see the rationale. Like, hey, if a country's tariffing us and we're trying to make better terms, you don't think this is a way of going about it, saying, hey, look, I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to do this. Oh, you don't think I'm willing to do this? Okay. And I think this is one of the reasons why many people are not really taking CNN seriously, right? No one's really concerned about this. Oh, Americans are souring on Trump's economic roller coaster. No, they're not. What polls are you referencing to suggest that? This is the psyop that I'm talking about. They're trying to create that feeling. It's almost like what they call it, wish casting. They're wishing this is the case with Americans. We'll see. Because at the end of the day, if reports like that keep coming out in Donald Trump's favor, I don't think a lot of Americans will be concerned about the economic roller coaster that liberals are trying to project as their new narrative. But let me know your thoughts in the comments as well. I'll be interested to hear your perspectives, your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this video if you feel so inclined, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.